Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us at Kuntz Stadium. I'm Harrison Silcox. I've got Kelsey Sparks with me up here in the booth, and what we hope is an exciting game tonight between the Indianapolis Alleycats and the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. And let's just jump right into it, Kelsey. Keys to the game tonight, what is Pittsburgh going to have to do? They've only got 2 wins on their season if they want to come away with a 3rd victory tonight.
Yeah, huge game tonight with major playoff implications. If the Cats win, they're in. Pittsburgh needs this win and to win out to stay alive, but they still control their own destiny. So we got to chat with owner and GM Andrew Gardner before the game, and he said if Pittsburgh plays their game, they can beat anyone. There's no one in the league that they think stands a chance if they do what they need to do coming out the gate. So they need to do the small things right, especially coming out of the gate. They need to build confidence and then take their shots downfield after they've kind of seen some discs into their hands and built that confidence. And they can't let the Alleycats dictate the game. The Thunderbirds have let 5 games go by where the opposing team scored over 30 points on them. So they cannot let the Alleycats get off to a strong start. The Thunderbirds need to dictate this game.
And one of the players that could help them dictate tonight's game is Will Hoffenkamp. Leads the team in assists. He's got 25 so far on the season. Just recorded 4 of those 25 and a loss last night against the Madison Radicals. He really is the straw that stirs the drink for what Pittsburgh is able to do offensively.
Yeah, Hoffenkamp is in his 3rd year with the Thunderbirds, and he's having a great season so far. So much of their offense runs through him. Of course, leading the team with 25 assists, but has 13 goals and even 6 blocks as well. Expect Hoffenkamp to be a major difference maker tonight, and Pittsburgh is going to have to get him off to a strong start if they want to do well.
And flipping things over to the other side, it's the Indianapolis Alleycats, 4-5 on the season, but potentially peaking at the right time when you look how their last 2 games went last weekend with wins against Madison and Chicago. They handed the Radicals their worst ever loss in franchise history in a performance that put up 31 goals, trying to keep the momentum riding here down the stretch of the season with playoff spots on the line. So, Kelsey, for the Alleycats, their keys to the game, as you see them there on the screen. Break them down.
Yeah, morale is high right now coming off that incredible 4th of July weekend doubleheader, so they just need to continue this momentum. Like you said, they're peaking at the right time, so keep things rolling. They need to take advantage of break opportunities as well. Pittsburgh allows more breaks than any other team in the league, and the Alleycats have historically this season struggled with some of their break chances. So if they can get their D-line offense cooking right out the gate, then they will put themselves in a great position.
And for the Alleycats, lots of players to watch on this team of late. It's been Elliot Hawkins. He has been awesome since he's rejoined the Alleycats. 14 assists, 6 goals in his last 2 games. He's got career highs in both those departments as well this year. Just having a great season.
Elliott has been a major difference maker for Indianapolis. In only his 3rd year in the UFA, he's a really young guy, still in college, and despite missing a couple games for his college season, he is still 6th in the UFA in assists overall. 13 goals to go with it. Elliot Hawkins can shoot from any point on the field, and when he has the disc in his hands, Pittsburgh should look out.
And we are just about ready for our opening poll. Brought to you by Disc Store. They have all things Ultimate Frisbee. Get to discstore.com for more info. And it'll be the Alleycats who will be on defense to start today's game, as the O-line is out there for the Thunderbirds. And playoff implications on the line tonight. Kelsey touched on it a moment ago. It's as simple as this for the Alleycats. Win tonight, and they are in the playoffs. They're currently 3rd in the Central Division. They need to stay there. I mean, even jump higher. I'm not sure if that's mathematically possible, but finish in that 3rd spot in the Central Division, and they're on to the postseason for the first time in a few years.
Yep, Pittsburgh just needs to win out to lock up a postseason berth and knock Indy off, but all Indy needs to do is to take care of business tonight is bring home the win. They'll have another chance next week as there's a rematch of this game in Pittsburgh. If Indy wins one of those games, they are in. And if Pittsburgh wins out, then it's going to be a wild final week in the UFA.
So Jake Felton with the heave, and obviously if you're the Alleycats, a team that's in control of their own destiny, they would rather things just be taken care of tonight. If you're the Thunderbirds, it's really fight or flight mode at this point in the season, with a lot of their games bunched here down the stretch. As Lucas Storm, it's the disc in his hand, swings it toward the middle of the field. This is Hoffenkamp, who we highlighted in the pregame, who floats one ahead. And now our first huck of the game, and a man wide open downfield, but a late bid knocks the disc down. That's our first turnover of the game, none other than Seth Goodman, the captain for this Alleycats roster this season.
Seth did a great job baiting that throw. He wanted it to go up because he trusted himself to catch up and make the play downfield. Incredible D to start the game, and Indy gets their first break opportunity on the first point.
Quick swing up ahead the field, courtesy of Branson on the throw, and it's going to go back in his direction. Huge opportunity here for the Alleycats, who really feel like they've started to figure things out as a team over the last week or so, and it's really shown on the scoreboard in their 2 straight wins. As Gitterman, long pass toward the middle of the field, and just an unfortunate error there for Indianapolis. Jack Gall with the drop.
Uncharacteristic drop there from Gall, and Pittsburgh has the chance to get the hold.
Hoffenkamp will pick it up immediately. Got Brock on the mark. And Dillard with it, pushes it ahead, and Pittsburgh, off the turnover, gets it back rather quickly and takes the first lead of the game. Lucas Storm with the goal.
Looks like there was quite a miscommunication there from the Alleycats defense, as Storm was just unguarded in the corner. We get another look at the turn here. Looks like Jack just looks upfield before he sees the disc all the way into his hands, bringing us to this chance for Pittsburgh to get the hold. Storm completely alone in the end zone. Great heads-up play by him.
Lucas Storm gets his goal tally up to 15 on the season. Just his second year playing here in the UFA, a rookie last year in the league. And this will be our first look at an O-line tonight for Indianapolis. So Thunderbirds get the early lead. It is what they need down the stretch here. You mentioned it, Kelsey, pretty much need to win out. Talking to their coaching staff before the game, it was just focus on the fundamentals, focus on those small detail things. The rest of the game will come to them. They believe in the talent that's on their team. It's just a matter of getting everything together. But the Alleycats looking for a quick answer, and they'll get exactly that. Carson Chamberlain on a full sprint down to the other end of the field, and that is one way to respond after giving up the first goal of the day, and it's a quick response at that for the home side.
Jake Felton and Carson Chamberlain go way back, as these two guys were teammates on Detroit, the Detroit Mechanics, before they both found their way to Indianapolis. Jake Felton is one of the UFA's players to watch for the week, and you can see why. He is actually 10th in the UFA in assists, and he adds another one to his tally there to his old buddy Carson Chamberlain.
And for Jake Felton, that adds to a streak of 33 games with at least an assist. Every single game that he's played in his UFA career, he's had an assist, so that continues tonight, just shy of 10 minutes left in this first quarter, and a great response for the Alleycats. So back on defense goes the home team. We'll see if Pittsburgh can respond in this one. That's Hoffenkamp. Quickly moves it toward the near sideline. And it's another long throw. Both these teams really trying to stretch the field early on here. Double coverage from the Alleycats, and they absolutely smother that chance downfield.
Yeah, that look must have been motivated by nerves or jitters. Just throwing into double coverage there is not going to work very often. So Pittsburgh needs to settle down and get those small wins like we talked about. Go back to the fundamentals.
Little middle of the field, throws it out to the far side. A good snag there by Samuel Ingham. So it's the Thunderbirds who tried to find Storm in the end zone again. Were unable to do that as Ingham works the far sideline here. Good movement as the Alleycats look for the first break point today. Good catch there from Gall that time around after the early drop in the last possession. He was out on the field. Now Branson. Ingham with a chance to survey Storm, marking him, and just finds Blaylock. Just a good approach here from the Alleycats on a very patient break point, and they go in front 2-1.
First break of the game early on their second opportunity. Alleycats didn't make the same mistake twice, that's for sure, as Sam Ingham gets the nod.
Your early thoughts, Kelsey, after giving up the first goal of this game. It's been a great response from the Alleycats as they look to get back to the postseason with a win tonight.
Yeah, that first break opportunity was just spoiled by an uncharacteristic drop, so they cleaned that up, and it seems like, we were only 3 points into the game, but it seems like Alleycats are in control right now.
Alleycats head coach Nathan Busberg in his first season leading this team off back-to-back wins last weekend, looking to extend the winning streak to 3. And so the Thunderbirds pick up the disc. We'll wait for them to get things started. Good throw here toward the middle of the field as Duncan popped open. Some quick movement from the Thunderbirds. Potential look downfield was not there as Logan Call wanted to stretch things. Instead, a couple of swing passes later, and it's back with Hoffenkamp. And dumped back to Reed Duncan. A quick movement here toward the near side. Patience here from Hoffenkamp. A far swing. This one's going to be a 50-50, and it's grabbed out of the air by Pollard. Alleycats, can they get to work quickly here on another potential break point? Move toward the near side. Good catch from Kemp. On the doorstep once more, and the Alleycats will close the door, and it's back-to-back break points. Robert Davenport closing that one off with a goal.
Great grab from Robbie, just snagging it out of the corner before it hit the ground, bringing life to the Alleycats. And you can see that that Hoff is just left alone in the backfield there. He does not have a reset option, so that's why he had to force that long swing pass into space. Doesn't work out for them, and the Alleycats take advantage and get their second break of the night.
And just good work from this team defensively. Back-to-back break points. Forced a turnover on that first possession of the game. Just an unfortunate drop that gave the disc to the Thunderbirds just outside of the end zone. But defensively, I mean, this is about as great of a start as you could have asked for if you're head coach Nathan Busberg.
Yeah, coming into this weekend, Pittsburgh was allowing almost 73% conversion percentage from opposing D-lines. So Alleycats aware of that number and take advantage there. Pittsburgh allowing 27.67 goals against them per game. It's the highest in the league. They are hoping to clean it up tonight and keep the Alleycats from running up the score on them.
After yesterday's loss to Madison, 31-19, it's 5 games where the Thunderbirds have allowed at least 30 goals in what's been a tough season for head coach David Berg and the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. But still plenty of time left in this one to try and turn things around, as the Thunderbirds do have a bit of a conversation on the sideline with another D-line out there for the Alleycats, including Cam Brock. There's a bit of a spotlight on him tonight. 4 scores away from 1,000 on the career, so if you're not already keeping a close eye on that, you're probably doing so now anytime number 3 on green is on the field for Indianapolis. Spent last season with Atlanta, back home with Indy.
He has had a long, illustrious career, the all-time leading goal scorer with nobody even close. 1,000 scores, that's combined goals and assists on the career, would be an incredible achievement, and we just might get to see it tonight.
It's interesting, you and I got a chance to talk with Jalen Pumgartner before the game started, an assistant coach for the Alleycats, just talking about Brock, because they're well aware how close he is to that 1,000 mark for scores as well. But just his IQ that he has, that he brings to the team, that's obviously allowed him to have such incredible numbers throughout his career and still continuing to do it to this day. It's a guy who's been here since the beginning. And a nice pass up the sideline is hung on to. Gessner laying out for it. And a foul as well against Indianapolis, so Gessner's going to walk it forward a little bit too. As the Thunderbirds try to get within one.
Yeah, it's really important for the Thunderbirds O-line to hold on this one and stop the bleeding.
So Storm with it. He's got the only goal for the Thunderbirds today as he goes back to Hoffenkamp. Nearly a turnover there. Good hands by Duncan. Looks upfield. Nobody's there. Duncan looks back in the direction of Hoffenkamp. Tries to throw it that way. Brock nearly took it out of the air. Hoffenkamp tracked it nicely. Goes right back to Duncan. And it's just not there in the swing toward the middle of the field. Maybe some miscommunication between Duncan and Hoffenkamp. The struggle's continuing for Pittsburgh. Now this is Brock with it.
Yet another break opportunity for Indianapolis. The story of the game thus far.
But Payne throws it away. And a whistle stops play. Are we going to get a call that goes against the Thunderbirds? And
looks like there was a foul on that throw, so Xavier's going to get to retain possession and walk it up.
Now Payne looking upfield. Brock with it. Long swing pass out to the far side, and that is hauled in by Walt. Far side of the end zone, and it is another one for Indianapolis. Samuel Ingham gets back-to-back goals. Alleycats go in front 4-1 as turnovers continue to mount for the Thunderbirds.
Stall count getting high. Duncan had nowhere to go with it, tries to lead Gessner out into space, but it just gets away from him. And there's a look at that foul that gets the disc back to Indianapolis.
And as we head to our first media timeout today, we will hit a break as the Thunderbirds trail by 3. Back at Kuntz Stadium, Harrison Silcox, Kelsey Sparks with you as the Alleycats have taken a commanding lead early on against the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. 4-1 is your score, and it is 4 straight goals that Indianapolis has scored after giving up the first goal of the game. So the O-line really hasn't had to do too much yet for Indianapolis, as it is the break points that they just continue to pile on here early in this one. So what does Pittsburgh have in the tank late in the season? Played a game last night in Madison. Got down here today.
Long weekend for Pittsburgh. They're headed home straight after this game too, so lots of travel.
This is Becker toward the near sideline. Good movement. As Karagias moves it upfield. Now an even further throw, and the layup not quite there. Anson Reppermond with the throw from the near sideline that nearly was the second goal for the Thunderbirds. Now another opportunity on a break here for Indianapolis. Rocking another point out of the field, another catch and another completion for the veteran, and then a long huck well downfield, but that pass just a little bit too much air underneath it as Gitterman couldn't quite chase it down.
Yeah, just too much air underneath it, like you said. Felton has been having the most efficient season of his career, though. He had 8 assists against Madison last week and already has 1 today, so.
Karajas tries a deep pass of his own and just not quite read well enough by Liam Becker. So a couple of passes hit the dirt here for either team.
And you can see Xavier Payne telling everybody to settle down, settle down. It's been a messy point thus far.
And then he immediately throws one well downfield. It's Gudeman within range, catches it just outside the end zone. He's got Brock wide open, looking for his first score of the game. It's going to hang in the air for just a couple of seconds before Brock brings it in. One step closer to 1,000 career scores for the longtime Alleycat, and a 5-1 lead with 3:19 left in the first quarter for Indianapolis.
Another look at that throw downfield from Payne to open up the field, and Cameron Brock just hauls this in with complete confidence. Doesn't even bat an eye at the defender coming his way. And he sits at 997 total scores for the career. There's the captain, Seth Gudeman, with the assist.
The impressive start for the Alleycats continues. Not playing with their strongest roster either. A handful of players out today with injury. But that is no problem for the Alleycats and a team that's really starting to figure things out down the stretch, trying to get back to 500. Won their last 2 games, trying to make it 3 straight today. Final 3 minutes of the first quarter going on now. Thunderbirds trying to find some answers of what they can do when they have the disc on offense. And you have maybe some miscommunication there. Thankfully, nobody ran into one another as Marshall came streaking to the ground in the catch. Now Hoffenkamp, middle of the field. And just a drop there right on the doorstep from Malachi Marshall.
Let's see what kind of play the Alleycats call here. Is there only 1 throw away? We'll see if they look for Brock again.
I was going to say, you got Brock on the field. You got to pay well attention to him, a player who knows how to score in these situations very well. You could argue probably knows how to score in these situations better than anybody else in the field. And there he is just outside the end zone, and it's an assist for Brock. 2 scores for him on the night. First goal of the day from Nate Little.
Nate Little, a big pickup for the Alleycats this season as we get another look at the turnover. Thunderbirds just beating themselves right now with mistakes. They need to settle down a little bit.
And that was something you touched on in the pregame, Kelsey, and that was told to us by the coaching staff of the Thunderbirds, is just focus on the basics, the simple throws, the passing and the catching. When you're able to do that, the rest will come to you, because these are top-notch players. These are professional ultimate players. But just a mistake on that possession, very costly from where it happened, and really an unforced error there for the Thunderbirds as you get a look at Nate Little getting some hydration on the sideline.
Yeah, frankly, if I'm Coach Berg, I would have been thinking about a timeout right then to just try to settle everybody before attempting another hold here. We'll see if they can clean it up with this O-line.
So Hoffenkamp continuing to just try and pull the strings offensively. The amount of minutes played for 24 and White is just continuing to add on tonight, as he's been out there for just about every single point. But it's another turnover and another chance for Indianapolis to get another break point. They've scored the last 6 goals in this game, 5 straight breaks. Nice catch there just outside from Kemp. Floats one into the end zone. Another goal for the Alleycats. James Pollard, the recipient this time around.
James Pollard gets the bookends on that point as he comes up with the D, gets the block, and then right into the end zone for James Pollard. Big point for him. And big point for the Alleycats to go up 6. Alleycats in complete control right now.
Yeah, 6 straight break points, 7 straight goals. After giving up the first goal of the game, this team just absolutely locked in, especially defensively. As you see, James Pollard celebrating the bookends, and rightfully so.
I don't think I've seen that blockchain yet.
Is that a new feature this season? That's my first time here. So
yeah, they've got the bling.
All right, we got
there.
the blockchain out. I just thought that was a season-long thing, and you know, our loyal viewers out there were used to seeing it. Maybe that's a new development tonight.
They might be more observant than I am. Who knows?
You can always ask Jalen Bumgarner about it. Halftime interview. Thunderbirds turnover early on, and this point as well. And the turnovers are already an issue, Kelsey, but it's where they're happening on the field, too. It's not like the Alleycats have to travel very far to get close to the end zone. As another long pass and another catch hauled in by Samuel Ingham. He's got 2 goals on the night now. Alleycats with another break point, 8-1, putting on an absolute clinic here defensively.
You know, they put on an actual youth clinic before the game on the practice field kind of behind the stadium here. Lots of young kiddos and their families out here to learn from the Alleycats and continuing that clinic into the real game now.
Say it's always good to follow up that clinic, as you mentioned. A lot of the kids who are part of that now come over here to watch the game. And so the Alleycats can follow up like, hey, we're going to teach you how to play this game. And then they go and put it on display in this type of fashion. It just, I guess, doubles down on, you know, them putting an example out there of, hey, we know what we're talking about when we teach you this stuff, and all that hard work paying off for the Alleycats right now, as once again they are going to poll. We will see if Will Hoffenkamp and company can get things figured out here late in the first. Looking for their first goal since their first point of the game.
Pittsburgh's really been struggling to field the pull cleanly as well, and that's never a great start to a point. It just kind of adds to the anxiety when you fumble around with it in your backfield.
Storm has it here. Just Thunderbirds looking for some confidence at the moment as Hoffenkamp has it once again. Good pass that time around to Duncan, who comes sprinting toward the near side of the field. Now up toward midfield now are the Thunderbirds, working on what's been a pretty efficient point thus far. Storm with it here has got the lone goal. A long pass out to that far pylon. The layout there for Duncan. Pittsburgh with a really good chance to end this possession with a goal. They do exactly that just before the first quarter expires. Thunderbirds absolutely needed that one. Ryan Ward there to cash in on the doorstep.
And Reed Duncan just being an absolute hero for the Thunderbirds and saving that just in the nick of time before it hits the ground with that layout grab to retain possession. I did not think he was going to get there. Crazy grab from Reed Duncan. And he takes time to take a breath, settle himself before throwing the score. The Thunderbirds really needed that hold.
And that just goes to show you, too, despite what the record may be and what the coaching staff talked about with us in the pregame about building up confidence with their players, they're all really good. They're all really talented, and Duncan just showing off his athleticism there. Even if the scoreboard doesn't show it at the moment. Pittsburgh has some real good players on this team. Dealing with a little bit of roster turnover from last year. Their top goal scorer now on their coaching staff. Their leader in assists a year ago with the Alleycats this year, unable to play tonight. And one final huck downfield to end this first quarter. And that just ends with Pittsburgh snatching it out of the air. Lucas Storm hauled it in. First quarter comes to a close, 8-2. Alleycats in front in their final home game of the season.
Any key adjustments you'd like to make for the second half?
Well, I'm not going to tell you, Evan.
Come on, we're so close.
But I do want to tell you how we can work together and build towards the results you want. I'm Charlie Hoppes, and I've coached Ultimate for 2 decades at all levels, including now consulting with your Indianapolis Alleycats. If you're a player, coach, or team at any level, I can help you achieve your goals. Sign up for a free call to see if my services match your needs.
Just about ready to start the second quarter. Alleycats in full control with the first 12 minutes in the books. Harrison Silcox, Kelsey Sparks with you for the final home game of the season for the Alleycats, trying to go out with a bang as well. They're on their way to another big win if this continues at the rate it's gone. But more importantly, Kelsey, win tonight gets the Alleycats into the playoffs.
Yep, win and in. It's a big game for the Alleycats. We got to chat with assistant coach Jalen Baumgartner on the screen now before the game, and she said that the whole team understands the gravity of the situation that they're in. The coaches are very transparent about all of that, and everybody knows. Big game, and if you win, you're in, but they don't want to let it dictate how they play or how they operate.
Just trying to take things one game at a time. It's a bit of a cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason, if you ask me, as the Thunderbirds head out onto the field as we get ready for this point.
There's a look at Frisbee, the Alleycats mascot. He was signing some autographs earlier.
And we were up here. I could have gotten one of those.
Wow, you might have to track him down at the end of the game.
Man, best mascot you'll find in the UFA for my money, as we are now started here in the second quarter. Just the second time today the Alleycats have received a pole. Brock on the far sideline. It's a nice swing upfield. Chamberlain with it now. And just a turnover, right place, right time there for Kevin Nickel. Great defensive positioning for him as the Thunderbirds will look for their first break point of the evening. But the long swing pass just not there. Kendall not having the legs to get there, too far for him. Now downfield, open and right on the doorstep are the Alleycats. Elliot Hawkins is there, wide open on the other side of the field. And a great find by Hawkins. Goes over to Carson Chamberlain. And the Alleycats with 9 goals now.
That was a pretty chaotic 47 seconds, if you ask me. 3 different possessions all over the place. Pittsburgh not able to capitalize on their first break opportunity of the evening, as that throw just way too far. Kendall not able to get there, no fault of his own. And Alleycats make quick work of their second chance at the hold. And there's Elliot Hawkins. There is our player to watch throwing it in. That will be his 43rd assist of the season. And he came into tonight sitting in 6th place in the league. And that's after missing a couple games for his college season.
Yeah, Hawkins just continuing to build on a really impressive year with the Alleycats. Had 15 assists in a game this season against Chicago back in May. Had a great weekend last weekend in a couple of games against Madison and Chicago, trying to continue that tonight here against Pittsburgh. As the Alleycats just keeping this momentum rolling that they found late in this season. Reed Duncan, who had the excellent layout late in the first quarter, the timely swing pass there. As Dillard upfield. That's hauled in by Karagias, but then turned over by Karagias.
Robbie Davenport getting the block there. I've called Robbie the Energizer Bunny of the Alleycats for years now. We have had some awesome post-game interviews with him. His celebrations are possibly my favorite ones. He just brings so much energy to this team.
Yeah, I've been here in previous games, and Davenport's always been a highlight for me. And the few times, the few games I've spent here as a player, when he's doing something out there on the field that's worth celebrating, he is going to make sure he soaks up every second of it. As I believe we've got a foul here that goes against Pittsburgh. David Cox will walk the disc up the field. Alleycats trying to get another score on the board. It's Brock who's cutting to the left of Cox, who fakes it to him and then moves it further to his right. And now a long throw, just a little bit too long. Lucas Storm will catch that to force the turnover, and then a long pass here, and it's just going to fall short. I was wondering if we were going to see Karagias lay out for that one, just not quite close enough. But now back to having to work the entire field are the Alleycats. And there's Davenport. Pollard. Brock. With the hammer throw, and that's a second assist on the night for Cam Brock, and a goal for Jason Kemp. Brock at 999 scores for his career.
It seems like we might just get to see number 1,000 for Cam Brock in career scores. What a monumental night this would be for somebody who has had such an incredible career. As we get another look at that hammer throw, you don't see Cam Brock pull out the hammer throw all that often.
He's got it in his bag at least, as we know that, and just focused on the sideline after that one as well.
I hope the Alleycats have a big celebration planned for him once he does get to that 1,000-point mark. Whether or not it comes today, you have to expect it. It's coming in the next couple weeks. He's got
plenty of time left today. 5 games this season that he's had at least 4 scores. So absolutely within the realm of possibilities tonight. We knew that coming in, and he is now 1 score away. Go ahead, Kelsey.
And against Pittsburgh, who is allowing the most goals against them per game in the UFA. So chances are high that Cameron Brock will be involved in another score tonight.
It's just funny, too. You look up and down this roster, all sorts of fresh faces, guys who have been around for the Alleycats for a while, but Brock is just such an anomaly. It makes you laugh, and I hope it doesn't upset him, but he was born in 1988. You got guys on this team that were born in 2006.
2006.
Which, like, that hurts me to say that as somebody who turned 30 earlier this year, as the Alleycats work further up the field now, trying to get another goal to go up 11-2. Brock not out on the field this time around, getting a much-deserved breather on the sideline as that swing toward the middle of the field, just not able to be hauled in.
Pittsburgh with another chance to complete this hold here. And they need to hold, and they need to make some changes quickly.
Almost a good catch. It would have been a tough one if Anson Repperman hauled it in. He's another guy who's been around this league for a while, who Pittsburgh's able to get back tonight from injury.
Yeah,
it looks like he might be had it out just as I bring him up. This guy's a rookie back in 2015. This is his 11th year playing in the UFA, and just walked straight to the sideline after that one. A tough break for him as Reed Duncan comes in his place.
Yeah, you really hope Anson is okay, both personally and because the Thunderbirds need him. He's the all-time block leader for the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds organization, and man, if he can't continue, that's a huge loss for the Thunderbirds, who need to generate blocks tonight to get back into this one.
Yeah, 176 blocks for him in his career. For a team that struggled defensively, they could absolutely use his wingspan out there at the moment. So hopefully for the Thunderbirds, he can come back in this one. That was a tough watch, but back to game action we go as the Alleycats once again trying to get another break point on the board. As Jake Wall moves it further ahead. This is Gall with it. And it goes right back to Jack Gall. And a good catch from Ingham.
Sam Ingham having quite the game tonight as well.
Little leaps into the air for that one. And put that on his highlight reel. The Alleycats have 11 goals.
Nate Little just gets big for that one. No pun intended. Nate Little gets big for that one. Incredible grab to haul in another break for Indianapolis. And I'm excited to see this one again here. Just shakes his head. You thought you had a chance at it.
Mentioned Little, a great pickup for this team in the offseason. First year with Indy, spent his last 5 years with the Philadelphia Phoenix. Had career highs last season in throwing yards, receiving yards, assists, and goals. And he's up to 8 goals on the season now, getting his second of the night. With 6:38 left to play here in the first half. Alleycats trying to clinch a spot in the playoffs.
And it looks like they're well on their way to doing so if this continues.
Here's Will Hoffenkamp. And immediately turns it over. Alleycats with another chance on a break. And they will get the break point. It took every inch of Jason Kemp's wingspan to reach out and haul that disc in, but he did exactly that. 12-2 in just a matter of seconds. The Alleycats add 2 more to the board.
If you blink, you'll miss it. That great D from David Cox. And then he gets the assist as well. You mentioned Jason Kemp's wingspan. He might have the biggest wingspan on the team, and he used every bit of it right there. Super quick break from the Alleycats.
Indianapolis on their way to cruise to a 5-5 record on the season. And as mentioned just a little bit ago, to lock up a spot in the playoffs as well. With 2 games to spare on the season. They're going to play Pittsburgh again next week. Then they'll close the season against Toronto. But what a breather this would be for this team to know that they're in the playoffs with some time to spare on the season. The games will still matter, but Kelsey, you got to think it takes the pressure off a little bit on these players, gives them some opportunity to fine-tune things as they look to make a run into the postseason. You could make a very good argument that they're the hottest team in the UFA at the moment.
Yeah, Alleycats hitting their stride at the perfect time. They have finally started to put all the pieces together, it seems like. Earlier in the season, I was a little bit worried. I wasn't sure if a playoff berth was coming based on some of the silly errors and the beating themselves, but my goodness, they've turned it around these past couple weeks after that incredible 4th of July weekend doubleheader win. They are rolling right on into this week.
Hoffenkamp with a high throw upfield that is brought in by Gessner. Now another long field up there to throw up to Storm. Right at the goal line he is. Duncan pops free. Thunderbirds get one back with their 3rd score on the evening. And we hit media timeout as well. 12-3, Alleycats in front and in control.
Best damn drink in the world.
Just about back and ready for play. Harrison Silcox, Kelsey Sparks up in the booth with you here at Kuntz Stadium. 5:38 left to go here in the second quarter. And your scoreboard tells you pretty much everything you need to know about this one. It has been all Alleycats all game long. Had an 8-goal scoring run in the first quarter that propelled them to a large lead. And they've just held on to it ever since, really.
Yeah, very one-sided game thus far. Pittsburgh needs to make some adjustments, and they need to make them quickly if they want to remain in this game and remain in playoff contention. Pittsburgh still in control of their own destiny if they win out. That includes beating Indy tonight and beating Indy again next week, following up by their final game against Chicago. But if Pittsburgh wins those 3 games, they will make the postseason and bump Indy from the 3rd spot. However, all Indy has to do is hold on tonight. They are in, and Pittsburgh is out.
And the way this team is playing defensively, they should be able to get a win. That turnover there is going to be a bit of a problem, just in and out of the hands of Jake Felton. Alleycats on break points, 10 of 13 so far tonight, 77%. Really solid numbers from the D-lines that Coach Busberg has put out there today from the Alleycats. As Selleck has it here midfield. Thunderbirds trying to get their first break point of the night. As Selleck gets it right back. And a quick swing out to the far side. Zaccardi. And getting one back, and good to see him back on the field, is Anson Repperman, who left hurt not that long ago. Is back out there for that point, gets the goal as well.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Great to see him back on the field for sure. The all-time block leader for the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds organization is going to be somebody that they rely heavily on tonight if they want to claw back into this one. As you get another look at the uncharacteristic drop there from Felton. Stall count getting high here for Zaccardi, but he's able to get rid of it, and the Thunderbirds take advantage.
First break point of the evening for Pittsburgh. They find themselves within 8. Going to need to string several of those together if they want to come back in this one and keep their playoff hopes alive. You mentioned it, Kelsey. They pretty much need to win out, beat the Alleycats tonight, beat them again next weekend, and then they've got Chicago on the 18th. Chicago, the one team behind Pittsburgh in the Central Division.
Chicago was such a powerhouse last season, too. It's been wild to see the fall this season, but that's a great organization. I'm sure they'll clean it up headed into 27 and beyond.
And here's a huck from the Alleycats. And just falls incomplete. A good duel there. Elliott Hawkins, the intended target.
Great defensive pressure there from Logan Call. Just gets a hand on it, so Elliott's not able to reel it in.
Potential trouble here, and just held on to from Pittsburgh. Foul called as well. Chamberlain trying to get the Callahan. From our angle, it looked like he had it momentarily.
Yeah, he smelled blood in the water there. Not surprised that a foul was called as Carson was trying to do anything he could to get that Callahan.
This is Stevenson, who's now there's a conversation with a ref between Stevenson and Brock and trying to figure out if there was a foul there or not. And it is going to be a turnover at the end of it. Brock trying to cut free. One score shy of 1,000. Is hoping this is the possession. There's so much focus on Cam Brock, but the other side of the end zone not being paid attention to, but apparently the Alleycat there was out of bounds.
Carson Chamberlain tried to tiptoe that line, but looks like he was just out of bounds, so Pittsburgh with another break chance.
Kendall. This is Zaccardi back with it. Logan Call on the far side. And nearly a turnover there. Good hands by Nickel, though, to hang on to it at the bobble. Back in the direction is Stevenson. Long swing. It's good work from the Thunderbirds, patiently working it up the field this time around. Kendall with the disc, now moves it toward the middle of the field, and Kendall just cuts cross field to get it right back. Stevenson once more. He's got 1 assist on the season.
I like the patience I'm seeing here from Pittsburgh.
Now call once again. It's kind of going how the coaching staff wanted it to go based on our discussions with them prior to the game, is just being patient and focusing on those fundamentals. And a patient possession pays off there, as getting another one back on the scoreboard is the Thunderbirds. Kevin Nickel closes that possession out with 1:34 left to go in the first half. It is 12-5.
Hey, great job by the Thunderbirds to get another break there, though. That's their second of the game, and they're going to need to string some more of those together. I really liked the patience that I saw on that possession, and I think that was a huge difference maker for the T-Birds. Most of their turnovers tonight have been mistakes that they have made themselves, so being able to settle down a little bit, see the disc all the way into your hands, make a good decision, find the open receiver, don't rush anything. Thunderbirds are going to have to keep up that chilly offense to get back into it tonight.
You mentioned the turnover numbers. It's 16 for Pittsburgh, just 9 for the Alleycats. And it looked like Pittsburgh was going to allow another goal on that possession as Carson Chamberlain was just out of bounds in the back of the end zone. And Kelsey, you and I from our vantage point thought it was going to be called a good goal, wound up not being that. Thunderbirds take it down the distance of the field, so some good resilience on that point as well for Pittsburgh, who's just trying to find anything to get back in this game, trailing by 7. And they're on a 3-0 run as well. Starting to figure out how to get some stops.
Yeah, Cats only outscoring them 4-3 in this second quarter. So definitely some good forward movement from Pittsburgh.
Brock out there once again for the Alleycats. Kemp wide open. And just like that, the response from Indianapolis as Kemp breaks free downfield.
And great put there from Elliott Hawkins. Once again, our player to watch from the Cats. Just made that offensive possession look easy. Cameron Brock with the hockey assist as he still sits at 999 career scores.
And if a hockey assist added to that tally, who knows where the numbers would be at for Brock. As far as scores go, I'm sure he's had plenty of those. But just some good work once again from the Alleycats. Kelsey, it reminds me of their first goal of the game back in the first quarter. Pittsburgh scored to start things. The Alleycats on their very next possession responded with a quick score just like that. Was a couple of throws and then the huck downfield and then a pretty easy catch as well. There's not too much traffic in the way there defensively from Pittsburgh. And just a great throw from Hawkins, as you mentioned, as he continues to build on a young budding career. And is that going to be a Callahan for goal?
Oh, it looks
he sure
like,
thinks
it
it
looks
is.
like it's not. There's a foul call.
Oh, my goodness. Jack Gall had a drop early in this one. Nearly had the highlight of the game thus far. I mean, he had it, but that foul absolutely saves Pittsburgh.
Gets Pittsburgh out of dangerous waters, too, as they get to walk it up 10 yards. Well, they go right back, but that's okay. Open up the field a little bit.
You get up to their main handler and Hoffenkamp. It's the only Thunderbird over 2,000 throwing yards on the year, Will Hoffenkamp is. As the usage rate with him, you can tell tonight, is quite a lot. 20 seconds left in the quarter now. Storm, middle of the field. And we'll huck it late here in the second. Lots of bodies in there. Hoffenkamp nearly came down with it.
That's got to hurt if you're Hoffenkamp. I really thought he was going to stop rotation on that one. I mean, he went up and got it and then just loses it as he's landing.
Maybe a little too much sweat on the hands.
Maybe so. Nate Little calls for the sub, but hopefully he's all right. He has some kind of injury going on. Cats with 6 seconds.
And immediately they just turn it over. 4 seconds now on the clock. So now you got a lot of tired legs for both teams who just ran the distance of the field and are going to have to sprint all the way back, switching from offense to defense. And now the clock reads 0. Jeremiah Branson wants some answers for the Alleycats as to what exactly is going on here late in the first half.
Looks like we're going to have a discussion about just how much to put back on the clock and what we're doing here. I think we're going to come back in with 5 seconds. Yep.
That's Hoffenkamp who has it. Hammer throw, far side of the field. It's going to need to be caught and then launched toward the end zone. And I don't think they got the throw off in time, judging by the whistles from our officiating crew and the celebrations from the Alleycats. Just about as good of a first half as Indianapolis could have hoped for. 13-5, a really strong first quarter. They're obviously hanging on to the lead here in the second. And so hopefully we're going to talk to Jalen Bumgarner here before we head into our halftime break. What a great first half. Your thoughts, Kelsey, for the Alleycats?
I mean, absolutely dominant first quarter from the Alleycats. Still looking good in the second quarter as well, but 8-2 in quarter number 1, 5-3 in quarter number 2. Alleycats have done a great job generating blocks and then taking advantage of their break opportunities. That has been an area for growth earlier in the season, something the Alleycats needed to work on, and my goodness, have they started to figure it out here in the stretch. If the Alleycats can hold on, they will clinch a spot in the postseason.
And also worth highlighting once again, Cam Brock, 3 scores there in that first half, sits at 999 for his career. As Frisbee's getting the crowd involved in this one. And just speak a little bit on the excellence that we've seen from Brock so far tonight. And I mean, you've had a front row seat for it for years now at this point, and just what he's been able to do in his professional ultimate career.
That's true. You know, I was at the first ever Alleycats home game back in 2012, so I didn't know Cam Brock's name when I walked into the stadium that day, but I've known it pretty much ever since. I mean, just an unbelievable career. All-time leading goal scorer. Second place isn't even close. And the fact that tonight he might have the chance to break into 1,000 scores all-time, I mean, that's a number that I don't expect to ever be broken, Harrison.
They say records are meant to be broken. If somebody's going to break it, it's going to take a remarkable career for them as well. Brock, a guy who's just really got it done since he joined up. Playing professional Frisbee, being with the Alleycats since 2012, been with them every year except for last year with Atlanta, back of the team this year, and really isn't showing too many signs of slowing down. I don't want to get like too hyperbolic here, I guess, but you watch the World Cup that's going on right now, and you see a player like Messi, and at his age, he's still able to get it done, and he's not to say that Cam Brock is Lionel Messi or anything like that, but a guy who just continues to find ways to use his smarts and his education that he's built around the game for years to still get it done. As Jalen Bumgarner, assistant coach for the Alleycats, joins us now. Jalen, we're just talking about Cam Brock. Talk about his first half. He's obviously 1 score shy of 1,000.
Yeah, it's just super exciting. We're all really pumped to see Cam achieve that tonight.
I was going to ask.
You're saying it's going to happen in the second half? Was that a stamp of some confidence there?
I have a lot of confidence about it. We're going to make it happen for Cam because that's a huge accomplishment. We want to see it happen sooner rather than later.
Talk a little bit outside of just Cam's efforts tonight, but defensively, your team's been really efficient on breakpoint opportunities, converting those. How happy have you been with what your D-lines have been able to produce?
I've been ecstatic. I'm really proud of the guys because I think that we've had a lot of moving parts over the course of the season, and obviously the last couple of games you've seen those things click and come together, and I think that that's always difficult from a defensive standpoint. And so the way that we've been able to convert with high energy, high legs, smart decisions, reading the field better, I am extremely proud and extremely excited to see that and for how the rest of the game and the rest of the season will go. I'm very I have high adrenaline right now about it.
You talk about the rest of the season today, obviously when you're in the playoffs with a couple of games to spare as well. So how do you stay focused here on these next 2 quarters and not get too caught up in what a win could mean?
Yeah, I think We have a good team approach to it. We've always been transparent. I was telling you all this ahead of the game, and I think that it applies here too. We've always been very transparent about what things mean, even if that puts a little bit of pressure on the team. So I think that with that same mindset, we can keep focused on what's ahead of us, not getting too wrapped up in what comes further down the line. It's about each point, and it kind of starts and ends there. I think the guys are well aware of that and have a good job, or do a good job of maintaining that with each other too. Like, we don't get too ahead of ourselves.
Anything that you guys want to try and build off of, or things you want to clean up as you head into the second half?
I would like to clean up getting more. I've got guys standing right in front of me, distracting me a little bit.
I was going to say, the smile tells you everything you need to know about how the
passing
first
by.
half went.
There's not a whole lot that I would say that I want to clean up. I think that obviously there's a couple of decisions that we want back, but more than anything, I just want to continue doing what we're doing. More than focusing on maybe some things that didn't go our way, I want to keep the momentum and the energy that we have going forward and not let that falter.
Kelsey, you got anything for Jalen before she heads in the locker room?
No, I think we've taken up enough of your time, but thank you so much for chatting with us, and good luck in the second half.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything this season. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jalen.
Thank you. We'll be back after this.
This is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. This is great.
My favorite color is white.
Pink or
Teal. That's why I wear these teal earrings.
my favorite color is green.
Green.
Like anything in the
Green. Green, because it's Alleycats color.
blue-green realm, like a turquoise. My favorite color is purple.
Definitely purple.
Blue.
I like there's these protein candies that they're making, and it makes me not feel bad about eating candy, so.
Twin snakes.
I love the OG Kit Kat.
Kit Kats.
Kit Kats, Reese's.
Payday.
They're like, okay, so they're like,
Twix bar is my favorite candy.
you see them a lot at gas stations and like Walgreens and stuff.
Sour Patch Kids, any kind of them.
One sour snake and one sweet snake, and they're like attached together.
Starbursts.
Twix.
If we're talking store-bought, I'm gonna say Snickers.
It's like kind of like a gummy bear. They don't quite have like the sugary, like powdery stuff that like sour snakes have.
If we're talking homemade, my wife makes dark chocolate covered nuts. Big fan, big fan.
They're good. Go check them out.
Best damn drink in the world.
A lot of big players, a lot of big plays. We're gonna do something huge for the league, not only on but off the field. I think there's a lot of good personalities here too, and I'm really excited to bring all these together and cause a storm in the league. Yeah.
The offense is going to be fun to watch, super hyped up. Defense is going to score a bunch too, so everything.
There's a bunch of incredible players that will bring something new to the table, and that should be exciting.
I think we have a real chance to compete with the top teams both in our division and in the nation, and it's always fun when your home team is one of the best.
The style of play this year is going to be very explosive. So a lot of big plays, both on offense and on defense. I think it's going to be something that's really exciting for fans to watch.
I think we're gonna wear teams down, and I feel like we're really pushing each other at practice. So I'd expect the other teams are playing to look defeated, and for us to come triumphant, that should be exciting to watch for sure.
From everything I've heard with our home games and how we're doing a lot of the events, I think that those are going to be well run, and the game day experience is going to be more than just the game, which itself is going to be a great thing. I think when you have multi-layer enjoyment, it's just going to make the whole thing, you're going to leave and be like, wow, what a weekend.
I mean, this is the most
The Ultimate Frisbee Association is proud to partner with Victory. Elevate your game with Victory insoles and recovery footwear at vktry.com. Delta THC Seltzers. No calories, no sugar, no alcohol. Catch life's moments at drinkdelta.com. Two Town Cider House, bringing the best craft cider for everyday celebration. Find yours at twotownciderhouse.com. And Disc-It. Round Net meets Ultimate. Disc-It is the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Get yours at discitgame.com.
Dream vacation spot? Honestly, Rimini, Italy.
Somewhere in the mountains with no one else around.
Nature experience in Patagonia.
I like the beach, I like hiking, really just any time to relax.
Machu Picchu.
I don't know if I really have one in particular.
Hiking in the mountains.
Anywhere in Greece.
I would say going on a cruise.
Laying on a beach and not doing anything.
At my computer, playing video games with no one bothering me.
My favorite movie is Interstellar.
Maybe Inception?
Inception?
Inception.
La La Land.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The James Bond series, so any James Bond movie.
Before Sunrise.
V for Vendetta's up there.
Django Unchained.
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Hyena.
Something like a hyena.
My spirit animal is an otter.
A hog. Cat.
Koala. I love koalas.
Like a koala, something slow and lazy.
Cheetah, because I want to be fast even though I'm not that fast.
A gecko.
Red panda.
My favorite music is anything country.
Eminem or Big Wild.
Definitely 21 Pilots.
Probably NF.
Drake. Right now I love JID.
Creed is probably my big one right now.
I don't listen to music.
My favorite emoji on my phone is this little troll guy.
I use this one.
Green heart.
I use the fire emoji a lot.
The nervous one with the sweating droplet right up here.
The one with the tongue out where it's just the eyes and it's just like the...
Favorite emoji is the salute face.
Meat on bone emoji. Maybe the emoji that's like thinking.
Best view in the house, maybe right there for that hawk that is well within range of Kuntz Stadium. I'm Harrison Silcox, Kelsey Sparks with you. We're just about ready for the second half. Alleycats and firm control 13-5 as you get a look at how things broke down there in that first half. Kelsey, what really stands out to you as you first look at that graphic?
Oh, that top left stat for sure. 3 of 19 for the O-line conversions for Pittsburgh. I mean, you need your offense to convert better than that if you want to remain in this one. So Pittsburgh has a lot to clean up, but the second quarter did look better for them. So let's see what Coach Berg has told them at halftime. Let's see what adjustments we see in the second half.
Hoffenkamp starts this point here as Pittsburgh tries to get the first goal here in the third quarter. Kelsey, one thing you and I were talking about as we got a breather at halftime. Nate Little back out of the field, by the way. We saw him left hurt late in the first half. But Pittsburgh in that second quarter looked a little bit more sharp. They had some better moments compared to the first.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't just shooting it downfield in the second quarter. They were seeing it into the open receiver close.
It's Courageous on the throw upfield. A couple players get tangled up, and a whistle goes against the Alleycats. Michael Dillard with the leaping grab as you get another look. And oof, you had Jeremiah Branson just come down on the back of his leg. And Dillard staying out of the field appears okay enough to continue playing. And a good chance to get a goal here. A tough swing over to Hoffenkamp. Good Sky there to haul it in. I'll dunk it. Working toward the near sideline. Courageous. Now Hoffenkamp again. Back of the end zone. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, even the refs were sure that was getting caught. They were whistling to signal that a goal was scored, but just couldn't hang on to it.
Ryan Ward, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we have such a great camera crew. That's a brutal drop there in the end zone as Pittsburgh thought they had a goal to start this second half here. It's just an unfortunate drop from Ward. We'll see how the Thunderbirds try to respond as Brock has it deep in his own end zone. Long hammer throw upfield. Gudeman there to catch. And just like that, Alleycats at midfield. Joel Close. And now Gudeman deep downfield. Hoffenkamp with him, but Gudeman brings it in for the score.
Great pass there from Jeremiah Branson, too. Just perfect shape on that assist. Finding the captain, Seth Gudeman, in the end zone. Seth leads the Alleycats in goals. He came into tonight with 26.
Just continues to build on a great career for Gudeman. Captain, as you mentioned, Kelsey, it's his 5th season with the Alleycats. And during that time, he's built on it tonight, I'm sure, but it's a plus-minus of 151 for his career. Had 20 blocks last year, too. That was 5th in the UFA.
Yeah, last year was really, I don't know if I should say a breakout season for him because he made an impact immediately upon joining the team, but last year as the team kind of started to rebuild, they made it clear that they wanted to rebuild around Seth. And he has stepped up to the plate. You know, last week before the game, Coach Jalen Baumgartner was telling me and John, who was with me with play-by-play last week, she said that Seth has just been an incredible leader and that the team has really rallied around him. She said that he raises the level of the team and he makes everyone around him better.
So you watch Seth play, at least from my vantage point, and he seems like the type of player where, you know, he has the ability to stand out and do things that really impress you, but he just looks like a guy who his presence is constantly felt on the field, even when he's doing things that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet.
For sure. As Pittsburgh struggles to field that pull again, I mentioned in the first half, they've really struggled to field the pull. It's either rolled out the back or gotten knocked around back there, so they give themselves pretty tough starting position on a lot of possessions.
Dillard on the hammer throw up the field to try and get out of some of that tough field position that you mentioned. Want to give Ryan Ward credit there on the completion just a moment ago, and that drop on the last point. Good catch there, and did a good job to advance the disc up the field. Good bounce back from him as it goes right back into the fingertips of Ward, who hauls it in. Storm with a good catch. Stall count creeping up on him, so he dishes it back in the direction of Courageous. Now Hoffenkamp back with it. Now Ward again. Some patience here from Pittsburgh. They are at their best when they're taking their time. Storm up ahead. And a foul's whistled there. Storm felt some contact, immediately looked in the direction of the referee. Correct call as well. Ben Landry just bumping into him. And there's the score for the Thunderbirds to make it 14-6.
Cats went with the double team there, and Pittsburgh just throws it right in between them. Finding Gessner there for the score. Yeah. Storm just not fazed by the double team at all. Goes straight through the middle. Good score there from the Thunderbirds.
And I said it during that point, Kelsey, but some more patience there from Pittsburgh, and we really saw them slow things down and be more patient in the second quarter. I mean, would you agree that that's when it seems that the Thunderbirds are at their best, when they're kind of, it almost looks like they're breathing a little bit when they have the disc. They're not getting too hurried as they try to work it up the field. It's a bit more of a methodical approach.
Yeah, early on in the game, I feel like you could feel the anxiety and the emotion and the stress on some of those possessions where they were just erratic with the throws and trying to force discs into places that they had no business going. So now that they've kind of taken a breath and let themselves establish an offense, it's really paying off for them.
Give and go with Hawkins, who then works it up to Brock. Now Felton. Hawkins with it, hammer, throw, Cam Brock making 1,000 career scores for the long-time Alleycat.
1,000 scores. As this whole team goes to surround him, this is a huge moment for Cameron Brock. The UFA might never see another person get to 1,000, as he is the greatest of all time. And it's good to see him be celebrated like this by his team, by the fans. Absolutely incredible moment. And an incredible career that spans back all the way to day one of the UFA, day one of the Alleycats back in 2012. And there's his family.
And one of the coolest moments in league history right here for you. Clearly emotional is Cam Brock celebrates an amazing milestone in his career that who knows when it's going to end. He's still got it.
Still got it. You know, he retired briefly about 6 years ago and then decided, no, I'm going to come back.
And that's Elliot Hawkins on the assist. One of the players on this team I mentioned who's born in 2006 with an assist to a guy who gets a goal who was born in the late 80s. And he's going to hang on to that disc for, I imagine, the rest of his life. 15-6, Alleycats go in front. We still have a game to play. But what a moment for Cam Brock. Back with the Alleycats this year after being with Atlanta last year. Such a strong veteran presence on this team.
Cameron Brock's 1,000 points. Two equally momentous occasions in their sport.
Man, that's just such a cool moment.
This is Karagias with the disc on the far side. Thunderbirds in between the history making a Cam Brock have to find a way to respond here as Hoffenkamp hammer toward the near side. Gall steps up to Mark Duncan. Toward the middle of the field, here's Storm. Quick movement here from Pittsburgh now, trying to find another good response from them. Ward just outside the end zone. 17 turnovers in that first half for Pittsburgh. They've been clean on this possession. And thank goodness Ryan Ward able to haul that one in just a couple of points ago with a drop in the end zone. That time makes up for it and makes it 15-7 and a good answer from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh really has been cleaning it up. I mean, having a great start to the second half and not a bad Q2 either. Problem is they have gotten themselves into such a deficit that they are really going to have to work to generate blocks and get some breaks back if they want to get back into this one.
You talk about a deficit. You talk about digging yourself into a hole early on. They scored the first goal of the game. They led up the next 8 goals to the Alleycats. It just, if you are familiar with this game, it is so hard to come back to have to get that many break points. It's obviously, you know, it's possible. It can be done. You know, if the Alleycats can rattle off 8 straight goals, so can the Thunderbirds. But it just makes it so tough to have to start every single possession by forcing a turnover and then turning that into some offense as well. Just over 6 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Brock back out onto the field.
This D-line really does well with Xavier Payne quarterbacking as he works with Avi Gitterman in the backfield there.
There's Hawkins trying to connect with Brock once more. And there it is. 1,001 scores now for number 3.
What a game for Cameron Brock.
A lot less fanfare this time around after the goal. You'd think, right, like, you know, just you got to have a disc now. He's got the 1,000 career scores. Now you should just have one for everyone after that. This is 1,001, 1,002. But here we are at a media timeout. Brock with the last 2 goals for the Alleycats. 16-7 with history made tonight by this man right here.
Best damn drink in the world.
Five minutes, 54 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Can't talk about that man enough right there. 1,001 career scores. He's got 2 goals here in the third. Jalen Bumgarner, assistant coach for the Alleycats, told Kelsey and I before heading into halftime, she was like, it's going to happen in the second half. She was very confident in that, and it happened here in the third quarter that Brock was going to get that 1,000-score milestone. Did that. Kelsey, I got to be honest, it felt kind of weird, just watching that moment happen and then having to get back into game action. But as the game continues, Alleycats looking to roll on to victory number 5 on the season and clinch a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. I wanted to continue to be lost in the celebration with Cam for a little bit, I got to say. I've known Cam for a long time. He's a really great guy, really great teammate, and as much as he has the most illustrious career and the most individual accolades, he's a guy that will tell you he's team first. Like, the main thing that he wants out of this season is to contribute to winning. As many goals as he scores, the wins are what matter the most to Cam.
As this disc goes out of play, and yeah, you mentioned the wins. Chance to get a big one tonight, get back to the playoffs for a team that hasn't been there in a little bit. And that's going to help add to the goal tally and get the Alleycats one step closer to that playoff berth. Joel Close popping free in the end zone.
Joel Close, another really fun young guy to watch with the Alleycats, coming from Grace College. He was quoted recently in an interview saying how much of a privilege it is to put on the Alleycats uniform, and that he wants to give it his all every time, and that privilege is not going to be lost on him.
Third goal on the season for him. He's been with the Alleycats, you mentioned young career, since 2023. As the defense just continues to play well. I thought it said everything about the performance there in the first half, Kelsey, when we asked Jalen at halftime about the performance of what her team's been able to do defensively and how good they've been, and it was just immediately a big smile on her face because she knew that's one of their best performances of the season that Indianapolis has put out with the amount of break points they've been able to capitalize on.
Yeah, Jalen and head coach Nathan Busberg really doing a great job with the team this season, and it's looking like they're going to get back to the playoffs.
A drop for Storm, and that argument that they're going to get back to the playoffs just continues to look like a pretty good bet to make, as the Alleycats now make it an 11-goal lead, 18-7, with 4 minutes and 34 seconds left in the third quarter.
There's another look at the drop, and then the fourth goal of the night for Jason Kemp. He's having himself a night here as well. The hometown fans cheering him on.
And I believe that's Will Wettengale just chomping on a burger.
William out with a hamstring injury, unfortunately, but
picked it up the game against Chicago last week in the second half. And when he's playing, super fun player to watch play for this Alleycats team. People have probably been around for a while, probably excited to see him back with Indianapolis this year. What he did his rookie season defensively was outstanding, as he just racked up the blocks, and he is really starting to come into his own in this league. Maybe work on the diet a little bit. I'm not going to comment too much on somebody else's caloric intake. Mine's up there as well.
Oh, you don't think a cheeseburger is going to help heal some injuries?
I'm not a medical professional. I've had cheeseburgers help me with injuries, not hamstring related, but, maybe woke up with a headache one morning and had to go get some greasy food to maybe help me out. Wettengale not playing tonight, as we mentioned. Alleycats, and his swing pass just falls incomplete.
Stall count just getting too high. Pittsburgh, another chance to hold.
This is Selleck trying to find somebody. Instead swings it back a little bit closer to the middle of the field to Liam Becker. And Becker threads the needle on that one to move it ahead. And to the near side, that is going to be a goal for the Thunderbirds. Logan Call on the end of that one to get one back.
And Pete Zaccardi finds him in the end zone. Stall count starting to get a little bit high. Doesn't let it deter him. There's another look at the turn that set it up. Zaccardi to Call, and the Thunderbirds needed that one.
We mentioned the stall count getting high there for Zaccardi, but it didn't look like there was too much panic from him. A lot of patience.
Yeah, threw a couple fakes in there.
And then ultimately, finds his teammate in Logan Call, and a nice easy pass. Not a whole lot of pressure defensively on Call. A nice cut from him to shake free. And so back within 10 are the Thunderbirds, who will launch this one to the other end of the field. Alleycats trying to make it 3 straight wins after winning both their games from last weekend. And I think that is, no, it's not going to be a foul.
Oh, it looks like the ref was going to call one, and Xavier invoked the integrity rule and said, no, it was out of my hands. So Pittsburgh picks it up, break opportunity, knocking at the door.
And the hammer throw back of the end zone, and that is a break point for the Thunderbirds. And a good celebration as well. Nice hang time there for Kevin Nickel.
I like that one. That was a good celebration.
It was. How much do you think he practices that?
I don't know.
Or you think he just does that, like he just figures that out on the fly? I'm going to jump in the air and do the heel kick. And we get a look at the turnover there.
Yeah,
awesome. And it's bookends for Kevin Nickel. I did not realize in live time that was him who got the D.
Well, that D happened so quickly. It was,
yeah.
It was hard to see. I definitely wasn't ready for it. There's another look at the celebration. Yeah, great bookends there. Great point.
I don't know if there's a chain on the Thunderbirds sideline like there is in the Alleycats, but Nickel absolutely deserves that one after that point. And the bookends, as you mentioned there, Kelsey, with 2:40 left to go in the third quarter now. Alleycats lead cut back down to 9. Here's Brock, the history maker tonight. Adds to completion for him as it gets moved ahead, and then just a drop there for the Alleycats in and out of the hands of Jake Felton. It's a couple of drops for him tonight now. It's a tough one there. And it's back with Malachi Marshall. Looking deep downfield. Nichols there again, and good defense from Felton. Way to make up for the drop to just leap out of the air and keep Kevin Nickel from catching that one.
Yeah, Jake Felton saw the opportunity to get that stat back after that uncharacteristic drop, and he was not going to be scored on after that.
Pretty even duel there. Both guys listed at 5'9". Leap it up for the disc. Alleycats come away the winners that time around. Thunderbirds are 0 for 6 on Hucks in the first half. Alleycats had 3. Another deep throw this time around, and it's going to fall incomplete.
Kind of a long point here, probably one of the longest that we've had tonight, as turns in both end zones have wound the clock down.
Yeah, minute 20 left to go here in the third. These players taking their time to pick up the disc as well after turnovers. Alleycats wanting a travel there. It's not called as Logan Call swings the disc toward the near side. Nickel catches that one just before it hits the turf. Now Gudeman chases that one out of play.
Pittsburgh wanted a call, but they're not going to get one.
Yet another turnover on this possession. It just looked like you had Gudeman and Zaccardi get tangled up. Zaccardi visibly frustrated with the official, looking back and yelling in his direction as we get a timeout on the field as well. 45 seconds left to play. Zaccardi still frustrated as tempers flaring a little bit here from the Pittsburgh side. Maybe some frustration showing regardless. Out of the timeout, you got Busberg talking to the Alleycats. 45 seconds to work with in the quarter. Kelsey, what do you think the Alleycats, how quickly do they try to move to the end zone here? You try to be patient and use up all that 45 seconds.
Yeah, at this point, the clock is really the friend of the Alleycats. Honestly, I don't think they will go out of their way to play keep away. I think they'll just play their game, play their offense, and if it happens to take a while, then good for them. But if it results in a score, then hey, that works too. All the Cats have to do is hold on for one more quarter plus 45 seconds. Pittsburgh has not won in Indianapolis since 2019. As they're talking things over with our head ref.
The last time they played in Indy was back in 2023. That was an Alleycats win. As you mentioned, that last win they've had, Pittsburgh here, was back in the last decade. But in that 2023 Alleycats victory against Pittsburgh last time they were in Indianapolis, Brock had 2 goals. So out of the timeout here called by Busberg. Long swing and quite a distance backwards, but the Alleycats quickly get some yards back. And woof, Brock just gets underneath that one on the far side of the field. A little with a one-handed catch. Now Brock sprinting downfield, some competition for the disc, and a great D from Anson Reppermond. The 2 vets dueling for that one in midair. 20 seconds left to play here in the third. This is Harry Park. 10 seconds now. Zaccardi. Becker. This one's up for grabs. Alleycats knock it down. Third quarter, I believe, came to a close. And it is officially the quarter. 18-9 as we head to the fourth. Alleycats 12 minutes away from punching their tickets to the playoffs. Just about ready for the fourth quarter as you get a look at the Thunderbirds sideline before they get ready to head out for the final 12 minutes of this one. Again in the fourth quarter here at Kuntz Stadium. I am Harrison Silcox. Kelsey Sparks with me up in the press box here as sun is starting to set here in Indianapolis. Clouds starting to roll in as well. Kelsey, the main storyline here outside of Cameron Brock getting over 1,000 scores for his career is the Alleycats just got to close this one out, and they're headed back to the playoffs.
Yup, win and in. Major playoff implications tonight. Cats were hoping to rebuild this season after a pretty disappointing 2025. Coach Busberg, though, joined the team. Well, he was on the team, but Coach Busberg, first year as head coach, and he set his sights on the playoffs, made so many recruiting calls. The literal minute he was allowed to reach out to players at 12:01 a.m. of whatever day they were allowed to reach out, Cam Brock had a text, and so did some others. So that recruiting is paying off, as well as just the coaching the team to play together. It took a little bit for things to start gelling for the Cats this year, but they're hitting their stride just in time.
You mentioned last year being a tough year. They were 4-8 last season. It's the fewest wins they'd had in a season since 2021. On their way to their fifth win this season. Chance to get another one next week against Pittsburgh once more. And they've got one more game left on the year to get a win. But I'm sure they're going to want to fine-tune some issues and avoid drops like the one they just had. That's going to lead to the score here for the Thunderbirds as Harry Park gets his first goal of the season.
Love the celebration there. Kevin Nickel has had some great celebrations tonight. Thunderbirds getting the break, getting back into the swing of things, coming into quarter number 4.
And it is within 8. We saw the Alleycats in the first quarter score 8 straight goals. Certainly possible for the Thunderbirds to rally and respond here in the fourth. You'd imagine the message from the coaching staff on the Alleycats side of things to the players is to remain focused and make sure you don't let a lead like this slip away. It may seem like something that in most cases would be insurmountable, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be the case tonight. You still have to finish the job. As a great pull well back into the end zone. Nearly a Callahan for Pittsburgh. Somehow Felton got his hand to that one to keep it with the Alleycats. Almost a disaster situation for Indianapolis. On how that would have put some pressure on Indianapolis, we will never know. This is Brock deep downfield, knows how to read a disc when it's in the air with his toes on the goal line, finds Gudeman, and the Alleycats avoid disaster and the road end zone and score, and the other in just a matter of seconds. Their lead goes back up to 9.
Well, that was an exciting point from start to finish. I thought we were going to see a Callahan there for sure, but Jake Felton able to save the day, and then that Alleycats offense just looked beautiful going up the field. Cameron Brock with a huge break throw to set for the score.
Does not get much closer than that.
No.
And Hawkins with the assist, or not the assist, but on the pass to Brock, a hockey assist is what it winds up being.
Yeah, Cameron Brock just stepping out so far around the mark. Great break throw to just put it into space and let Seth go get it for the easy score. What's he at now, 1,002?
That would be correct by my math. 6-score night for Brock. And there is just an unfortunate end to a possession for the Thunderbirds. Another break point for the Alleycats. And it's just been an issue for them. Turnovers, obviously, all night long, Kelsey, but where they've happened on the field, and so many of those turnovers have happened early in these points, and that's just a drop there by Lucas Storm that he's going to want back.
Yeah, and you can't let the Alleycats have an incredibly short field like that. They will take advantage of it. Jason Kemp, by the way, with his 5th goal of tonight. Jason having an incredible game. And the Cats sitting at double Pittsburgh's score.
Third straight game reaching 20 goals for Indianapolis as well. A 31 and a win against Madison last weekend, followed it up with 24 against Chicago. And picking up the disc to get play started, Hoffenkamp back with this one. Been a tough day for Hoffenkamp. And a lot of this Thunderbird team, just the Alleycats have done a great job of putting some pressure on the Thunderbirds. And how much too, Kelsey, do you think just the fact that the Thunderbirds are probably working with some tired legs out there, having to play in Madison yesterday, then making the trip to Indianapolis today. That's just got to be so demanding. And for the Alleycats, able to rest up. You know, they had their doubleheader last weekend.
Yeah, Pittsburgh doesn't even have a full roster here tonight either. Not a lot of subs over on the sideline, so.
And great defense. I believe that's Gall who leaps into the air, the most undersized of the bunch, but just had the leverage to keep Pittsburgh from scoring a goal. Now a chance for another break for the Alleycats, leading by 10 once again. Pollard. Now Gall. All the way toward the middle of the field. Pollard, quick catch and throw. Landry on the hammer, far side. And the Alleycats make it 21-10, just like that.
Take a bow, David Cox, take a bow. Fantastic throw there too from Ben Landry, just hammer strike across the field.
25 turnovers now for the Thunderbirds as their struggles continue. 8:59 left to go here in the fourth quarter. And you mentioned how roster numbers light tonight for Pittsburgh, not necessarily the case for Indianapolis. As you'd imagine, head coach Nathan Busberg able to maybe use some of the depth on his roster a little bit tonight. Get some guys some more runs who wouldn't ordinarily be getting as many runs as they are.
Yeah, Alleycats have been saying all season that they trust their roster from top to bottom. They think they have an incredibly deep roster. They trust every single person on the team. And hey, you can see why tonight.
Just shy of 9 minutes left in regulation. Alleycats on their way to a 5-5 record, getting back to 500. So it'll just be their third win at home this season and their final home game of the year. Alleycat fans have been able to enjoy this one tonight stress-free, outside of maybe when the Thunderbirds took the early lead, scored the first goal of the game, but the response was so quick from Indianapolis. And just a good celebratory night on what's looking to be a successful season, as this one turns into a turnover. Pete Zaccardi, the pass just too short for Reppermund. Branson This is Blaylock. And it's another goal for Little. He's got 3 on the night. The assist goes to Joel Close. And more reason for this home side to celebrate with just under 8 minutes left to go in regulation.
Yeah, pass there just gets away from Zaccardi, it looks like. Did not make it to Repperman. Alleycats get yet another break as the crowd was chanting chips and queso, chips and queso. One of the sponsors, Torchy's Tacos, gives everybody free chips and queso if the Alleycats get to, I think it's 25 points.
25 is what it is?
I should know this. I don't know.
I've been around all season, It's my first game. I can get by on knowing that. I hear the chant, and it just makes me hungry. I'd be willing to pay for it. That's how hungry I am. But yeah, if I get free chips and queso, it sounds incredible. There's some more issues handling the pull. You've been pointing that out throughout the game, Kelsey, and just how it kind of puts you behind at the start of a point. It's more trouble for the Thunderbirds. And right away, Pollard's there to force the turnover. And getting it right back, though, is Storm. A good response from Pittsburgh. Storm then winds up losing it. Wanted a call. I think Landry might have ripped it out of his hands.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a strip call there.
Now we get another look. And it looks like the right call in my eyes.
Yeah, I think so. Pittsburgh gets to retain possession. And another foul.
So Michael Dillard's going to walk this one up a little bit. He's a rookie back in 2021. And his first season with Boston, he's been with Pittsburgh ever since then. Ward, toward the middle of the field. Now Dillard coming down with another catch. Garages toward the end zone. We got 2 players in on it for Pittsburgh. One of them comes down with it. So it's a score for the Thunderbirds. Unfortunately, might have a player hurt in the process as well. It's Brendan Dessner with the goal. We get another look at it.
They immediately cut the replay. Yeah. Probably shouldn't be showing.
Yeah, it looks like his ankle might have gotten caught there. Certainly hope he's okay. It's good to see him walking off of his own power, though.
A goal comes at a cost for Gessner. Thunderbirds get one back here late with 6:32 left to go in the fourth quarter. So we talked a lot in the pregame, Kelsey, and even with the coaching staff before the game started about, right, the Alleycats captured that momentum they've been looking for last weekend with the 2 victories. As a matter of keeping that going, they obviously have done that tonight. And how important is it for them, even though a win already puts them in the playoffs, to continue to help the good times roll into the last 2 weeks of the season?
Yeah, you don't want to go into the playoffs flat-footed, that's for sure. And competition is going to be fierce. I mean, it looks like the Cats will have to go to Madison in the first round of the playoffs unless something crazy happens. That is going to be the likely playoff scenario. So to win on the road in Madison in the playoffs is going to be tough. And they need to bring every single ounce of momentum they can into a game like that.
It's be such an interesting playoff matchup. 2 teams, obviously, if you're playing in the same division, you're pretty familiar with one another. But they've played each other fairly close this season. Then out of nowhere, last week you have the Alleycats putting 31 up on Madison. And so is there a revenge factor there if that does indeed be the matchup? How do teams handle that one emotionally? Or is it a matter of just, the Alleycats have really figured out things that much that they can go back into that game with some confidence and produce a similar result? Lots of storylines in that one if that does indeed become the matchup. Lots to still play for here, though, as you mentioned, Kelsey, with the regular season winding down here in the UFA as Gudeman chases that one down and quickly hands off to Payne. Gitterman Good find upfield to Chamberlain. Chamberlain double teamed. Hammer throws out of some trouble. And it just turns into a drop. Tough one for Xavier Payne.
We've seen a lot of drops this game, a lot more than a typical UFA game, that's for sure.
We have had a little bit of rain at times, like sprinkled for a little bit. I wouldn't imagine it would be enough to make conditions that wet to really impact things, but we have seen a fair amount of those so far today, as you point out, Kelsey. Makes you wonder if there's any reason behind that or if it's just one of those nights. As Marshall gets the disc back here, 4:45 left to play here in the fourth. Marshall looked downfield, thought about throwing it, and swings it to Repperman. Nearly getting the D there was Brock. Instead, possession stays alive for Pittsburgh. Stall count getting up there, and timeout called by the Thunderbirds as well, just in the nick of time by Kevin Nickel.
In a 22-11 game. Okay.
4:16 left to go here in the fourth quarter. As the Thunderbirds want to talk things over. The stall count was getting high there for Kevin Nickel, as I had mentioned. There's going to be a good chance here for the Thunderbirds to get another goal back on the board. But Kelsey, when you're in this situation, you're coming out of this timeout, you're pinned on the far sideline. I mean, how quickly, I guess, are the Thunderbirds going to have to move the disc here to try and get a score?
I mean, I'm not a math wizard, but just looking at how much time is left in this one, I think a comeback has become an impossibility. So at this point, Pittsburgh, needs to build for the future, finish on a high note, get some momentum back. They still have 2 games left this season. They still have plenty to play for, even though the playoffs aren't on that list. So at this point, I don't really think that speed matters, because I don't think a comeback is a possibility. Alleycats fans already celebrating the playoff spot up in the stands.
It's a good time here in Indianapolis if you are an Alleycats fan. Back to where this franchise feels like they belong, as we're out of the timeout. Ward with a nice grab out of the air. But then it turns into a turnover. 4 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Now out of the timeout, Thunderbirds just not able to turn that into a goal. Now deep in their own territories, the Alleycats. Galdo helps them work well out of it. Now further up, Joel Close with it. As the disc goes right back to goal. Now he looks downfield. Close going to have to turn on the Jets, and just not quite close enough for a layout effort. 3:30 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Alleycats have stretched the field a lot more this season. Coming into this game, 87 hucks on the year. That's compared to just 71 through a total 12-game season last year. So had already surpassed that mark. Continue to build on that today. That time, though, Close just not able to have the speed to chase down the disc. As now you're looking for the Thunderbirds to try and capitalize early here. And what a catch for Reed Duncan. And then you've got some stuff going on after as well. Duncan a little fired up as we head to a media timeout, as both players from both teams talking a little bit here late in this one. 22-12 as we head to our final break, with 2:57 left to go.
Watch, here's the step over right here. Yeah, because he's going pointing at the scoreboard.
Oh my God.
2:57 left to go here in the fourth quarter. After the brief break, tempers flaring once again here at Kuntz Stadium. But it's the Alleycats who are going to get the last laugh regardless, given the way this game is going to finish. And just to make things a little bit more interesting, I guess, is with players talking a little bit, things maybe getting a little bit chippy. They're going to play each other next week as well. And maybe some technicals were assessed as well from our officiating crew, is what I'm being told. As you've got the entire Alleycats sideline outside of the 7 players who are out of the field awaiting the pull right now, all in a huddle with Coach Busberg, as you see right there. As Kelsey, what do you imagine that conversation was about after what we just saw after that last goal?
I imagine Coach Busberg is telling everybody to lock in. Don't let the emotion of the moment get to you. Don't be chippy back with the other team. Just focus on playing our game these last just under 3 minutes. Lock up that playoff spot and go home. If I had to guess, I would say that Coach Busberg is just trying to refocus everybody.
Especially in a game like this where, I mean, you're going to win, given how much time is left and what the scoreboard shows. Just want to make sure that nobody really gets into too much trouble. And what they're doing, you want to make sure your players are being smart, aren't doing anything to hurt the team, especially this late in the season.
Yeah, got to keep that positive momentum going if you're Indianapolis. Don't need to get into anything chippy in the last couple minutes of this sure win here.
Long throw here, chased down and caught by Hawkins. Now toward the near side, and it's going to be another goal for Indianapolis. It's the captain, Goodman, once more. And a good way to maybe set the tone after some pushing and shoving is an efficient possession and have it end with your captain just casually getting the score as well. And keep everybody maybe a little bit more calmed down than what they were a few minutes ago.
Super quick, super efficient hold there from the Alleycats, just making it look easy. Only shaved off 20-some seconds from the clock.
So celebrations continue here in Indianapolis. One step closer to clinching a spot in the playoffs. Currently in third place, and the Central Thunderbirds behind them. A win today mathematically eliminates Pittsburgh from being able to make up the gap in the standings.
Good job fielding the pull there from Pittsburgh.
This is Courageous back toward the middle of the field. Dillard with it. Have a long swing. Chased down well by Becker, who moves on with it quickly. Conditions have been fairly good tonight. Kelsey, I haven't noticed really too much winds. There's some cells on the radar. If you're looking at that, haven't really seen too much rain either.
Rain was definitely a concern earlier on in the day. It looked like it might be an issue, but thankfully the crowd, the players have stayed dry.
And Ward with the goal. Good job reading the disc there that time around. 1:40 left to go, 23-13. With another goal for Ryan Ward in his rookie season. Now has 7 goals on the year for him. Came into this game with just over 700 receiving yards. He's in the early days of his pro career. Two teams split the season series last year at 1 apiece. Alleycats with a win tonight. Now they've got a chance to sweep the season series if they can get another win next week. As the good vibes continue with Indianapolis. This late in the season, making it their 3rd straight win, final game at home has got the crowd on their feet and singing as well. As you just get the feeling, Kelsey, this is a fan base that is very excited. That's right when I say that. You get a turnover early in the possession. It's just like a sense of belief around the venue almost. Obviously, it helps when you're winning by 10 and you've got 23 goals on the board. But with clinching a spot in the playoffs and
yeah, it really feels like the Alleycats are building something special here. The fan base has really grown, the team has really improved, and the future's bright if you're an Alleycats fan.
You've got first-year head coach Nathan Busberg, some new faces on the team, some returners on the team who haven't been here in recent years who are now back as Pittsburgh gets a goal with just under a minute left to play. Nice break point for the Thunderbirds. But, yeah, it's just kind of a, like I said, good vibes around the building at the moment. And why wouldn't there be?
Only 52 seconds stand between the Alleycats and a punch card to the playoffs for 2026. I mean, we've seen history made tonight, too, with Cameron Brock going over 1,000 scores for his career. Hopefully I'll get the chance to catch up with him on the field for a post-game interview.
It would be so cool to hear from him after doing something. It's almost odd. It's like you want to say he broke a record because that's what it feels like, but he didn't break a record, so to speak. He just did something that nobody's ever done before, which was getting his score total to 1,000. But that was already a league record of what those numbers were. He's just continuing to extend upon that. And when you get into the 4-digit territory of 1,000 scores, and that's something, it's obviously special because nobody's ever done it before. But how about Hawkins? Some of the young blood in the Alleycats. Elliot Hawkins, in the early days of his career, really starting to blossom as a player, goes the length of the field, and just about 20 seconds gone by, and the Alleycats get another.
Xavier Payne with the almost full field hug to Hawkins, and he really turned on the afterburners for that one. My goodness, when it went up, I didn't know if he was going to be able to get to it, but just so fast and a perfectly placed disc, too. Payne really knows his receivers well. The Alleycats are so excited about Elliot Hawkins and the future that's ahead of him, still in college. So hopefully, Lord willing, a long career ahead for Elliot.
And a timeout called by the Alleycats, and a good time to just dive a little bit deeper into what Elliot Hawkins is doing this young, or this early in his career, I guess I should say. I mentioned earlier he had a game this season where he had 15 assists. I mean, that's already some super impressive stuff. Kelsey, you mentioned, right, he's 6th in the UFA in total assists coming into tonight's game. He's got 42 of those, 55 total scores. That's 6th in the UFA headed into this weekend as well. Obviously, a lot of those scores are assists with him having beyond 40 now on the season, but you see the athleticism on display there, getting the goal. But there's the man right there who's going to be celebrating tonight as Cam Brock. As Hawkins might be the future of the Alleycats, that man is, I mean, he's like the history of the Alleycats. I don't know. He's the history, the present, and maybe even the future still. It's just such an impressive career he's put together, and so much of it here in Indianapolis. So final 30 seconds of play, and I guess change as well. It's just a little bit over 30 seconds left to go as Reed Duncan's got the disc here on the near side, potentially last point of the game unless we get a quick score, nearly a turnover there. Alleycats continuing to put on the hustle as Hoffenkamp just moves it to the far side. Back with Hoffenkamp again up that far sideline. About 10 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. So you just pick your headline. Cam Brock gets over 1,000 scores, and the Alleycats clinch a playoff berth. Either way, this one is success for the home team in their final home game of the season. One last heave for the Thunderbirds. Too far out of the back of the end zone. And this one is over. Alleycats win 24 14. And everybody's looking at that man right there, just continuing to put his name in the history books.
And I'm going to head down to the field right now and try to grab that man for you all.
That man is Cam Brock. As Kelsey's going to hustle down there, we'll hope to talk to him in the post game. It's a 10-goal win for the Alleycats. It's another double-digit win in the season for them, makes it 3 straight as well. I mentioned a couple times the 31-18 win against Madison last weekend. A couple days later, they beat the Chicago Union 24-20. Now they're back at 500, 5-5 in the air. More importantly, clinch a spot in the playoffs. As I mentioned, Kelsey is headed down to get Cam Brock for the post-game interview, so look forward to speaking with him. For the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, a tough season continues. They now fall to 2-8 on the year. Lost to Madison last night, lost today, makes it 3 straight losses for them. They get a chance to avenge this loss next week when they take on the Alleycats back on their turf. So a lot of travel this weekend for Pittsburgh, not so much next weekend as Brock continues to be celebrated down on the field after teams high five. And will head on their way as Pittsburgh heads back home tonight. Thunderbirds were 3-9 last year. It's the fewest wins they had in a season since 2021. They will stay in 4th in the Central Division with Chicago trailing them. But for the Alleycats, after just 4 wins last season, now up to 5, a chance to get 2 more with 1 more game against Pittsburgh and then a game against Toronto to end the season. And then it's official now. They'll head to the playoffs. Kelsey mentioned mathematically likely opponent in the playoffs is going to be Madison. You never know for sure until everything wraps up. But that's likely the most likely outcome, I suppose, is another game of the Radicals, which, if you heard me earlier on the call, could be a very exciting one, and one full of all sorts of narrative. Except for the Alleycats, though, obviously got to play the games, but get some guys back healthy. They weren't 100% tonight. Jonathan Mass didn't play. Will Wettengale also didn't play. A few other guys unable to get some game action. So I can use these next few weeks to fine-tune everything and also just make sure guys like Wettengale get that proper time to rest and come back healthy in time for a playoff run. As Kelsey Sparks has found the man, the myth, the legend, Cam Brock.
All right, joining me now on the field, the man of the hour, Cameron Brock. Congratulations on crossing the 1,000-score milestone for your career. Can you tell us what that means to you?
It's kind of funny because I knew coming into the season it was like a thing, and I know they mentioned on the last broadcast, but I had completely forgotten about it, like getting ready for the game. I wasn't thinking about it at all. And funny enough, some of my teammates were like, Cam, when we get a turnover on these deep points, you just got to run deep. Like, we're just looking for you. I was like, what? And they're like shouting out numbers. I didn't know what was going on. And they're like, you have like 2 more scores here at 1,000. I was like, oh, okay. So, it was really cool that like my teammates were all in on it and like wanted me to reach that. And especially because a milestone like that literally just can't be reached without teammates. I mean, it's a score. It's a sport where there's almost no goals ever scored without a teammate throwing or you catching it from a teammate who's thrown it. My team's really mad at me that I'm not there for the picture right now. But no, it's just like this is a result of having a lot of great teammates over the years. So like I can't accomplish any of this without my teammates. And I've had some amazing ones, and I have some amazing ones right now. And coming from Elliot Hawkins to be the guy who throws it to, like, I've been so impressed with Elliot this year, not just like his talent, which is what jumps off the screen to everyone, but like he's been such a mature player for how young he is, like taking accountability for everything he does throughout the game. Like if he makes a throw that he thinks is a little questionable, even if it's completed, he comes off and says, my bad, I shouldn't have thrown that. And I think having teammates like that are really selfless and like really just care about what's best for the team, like that's what makes this all happen. Like I'm just the guy who happens to be catching and throwing some of these, but like it's a result of all of us working really hard. So I think that's the thing I'm most proud of, is that being able to like stay on the field, obviously for all these years, but then having teammates who've just been so great too.
And on top of the individual achievement, you guys locked up a playoff spot tonight. What does that feel like?
It's great. You know, the playoffs are fun. They're awesome. And I'm going to go over there, but I'm just really excited we're back in the playoffs and hopefully a deep playoff run.
All right. Thank you, Cam.
You see the moments here and the picture. It just tells it all, how beloved he is by his teammates. How cool this game was for him and the players who helped him get to that milestone. And this entire fan base behind this team as they will cheer them on and into the playoffs. One more time, your final score, 24-14. Alleycats get the win over the Thunderbirds. Clinch a spot in the playoffs. Cameron Brock, first ever player in UFA history to hit 1,000 scores. He's up to 1,002 and counting. Once again, I'm Harrison Silcox. Thanks to Kelsey Sparks with me tonight. Everybody on our production team as well. Alleycats, one more time. Your final score, 24-14.